Um, First of all, the new album of Epica has been out for some months already, and I wanted to know how's been the reception of the album so far.
Very good. I guess we had only a couple of shows after the album was released. The official tour, we had a Mexican tour, but we're going to Latin America in September and Europe next year. So it's a little unusual for us that after an album release, we don't go immediately to tour through Europe. So that feels a little new, a little different. But the response has been amazing. People have a wide variety of favorite songs. So I guess there's something for all Epicans. And we are first of all, very proud of this album ourselves that, we came up with a spiral, and that is very sincere and, piece of art, I would say.
This is your ninth album with the band, right?
Yes.
Along this roller coaster ride, how do you feel you've evolved in all these years, both personal and musical? What has changed from the first to now Spiral?
Well, it's been 23, 24 years almost. So it's more than half of my life. When I started with Epica, I was a teenager, 17-year-old girl, still going to high school, not knowing how big the world is, And now with the ninth album, touring the world, seeing so many places, I grew up with Epica. So, I became a grown woman, gained a lot of experience on a personal level, musical level. I think the Epica as a band, we grew all as individuals, but also as a band, as a team, as musicians, as composers, as performers, and as artists in general. So a lot has changed. But what hasn't changed is our passion for music and the joy that we have while we are performing the songs live. We love to do live shows, and that is definitely a thing that didn't change, and it remained the same. The fact that this is our job, our lifestyle, and we love it with all the pros and cons that come with it.
How about the approach when it comes to writing?
Everybody in the band gets to write songs, and by the time we start the writing process of the album, we listen to all the demos, and we just pick the songs that we like the most. So it's a democratic band. Everybody has a say, and we get to work on the songs together as a band. And I think that's the strength of Epica, and that makes Epica, the sound also has evolved through the years when more band members started to write music, starting to write songs. So, yeah.
Last year you released your album, right? First, Long.
Mm-hmm.
And with Arion, and also a song with Alicia Whiteglass, right? What was it like to work with both? How proud are you of that work?
Well, I always wanted to do a solo album, and I reached out to Arion a couple years ago already about the idea of doing an album with him, because I always love his songs. Arion, I've also worked with him being a guest vocalist, and I connected very much with his music. So I had the idea a couple of years ago, but both our schedules were quite full. And in 2023, we had the time to work together, and we also thought which guests would fit on the album. And besides Mark, who's also grunting on 2 songs, and Rob, Epica's bass player, is playing bass on the album. Alyssa was one of the obvious choices for us to have a female grunter on the album. And we also toured together, even the early days of Epica, I toured with her, but we never really worked together. And for this song, she was a perfect fit. We could use her amazing runs, screams, and her clean vocals as well. And it was also really cool to do the video shoot together. It was a lot of fun. We both loved that creative process, the visual side of also the music business, and we always put a lot of effort and creativity in it, and it's a great way. We had a lot of fun with Patrick shooting in the video.
So, speaking of Alicia, there's some great female vocals nowadays in metal. There's always been, but I think now with social media and everything, everybody notice more female vocals in general. And I wanted to ask you, what are some of your favorite female vocalists in metal in general? And if there's another one that you wanted to collaborate in a future, or...
But you mean female vocals like grunters, or in general?
In general, but in the scene of metal.
In general, I love Charlotte Vessels. I mean, we have worked together for both our Patreon, but also for Epica with the Alchemy Project. Other female, I would love to work with Aurora one day. She's not like in the metal industry, but she is a metal fan that I know, and I really love her voice. That would be lovely. And maybe one day, who knows, Tarja, Sharon, of course, Christina. I sang with already a lot of them, also Anneke, during a live show, but never on an album. I think, with Tarja, I sang on one of the Christmas songs, but not like actually sing together in the same space, just like recording it at home and then sending the file for them to use. So it's a little bit of a different thing. But I think that would be lovely. Like get all the ladies in the metal scene together and sing one or two songs, or maybe even make a whole album. Who knows?
So taking you back to the origins, of course you have influence in classical music and of course metal. I wanted to know at what point did they merge, like your metal influences and the classical influences, and if there's any band like you said in a moment, like, oh, this is my way, this is my path, my musical path. I think this is where I feel comfortable mixing those two genres, right?
Well, it kind of was, if I recall correctly, I already had singing lessons when I was about 14, but then I was listening to rock bands, alternative bands like Radiohead, Deftones, Silverchair, REM. And then my very first boyfriend, I was then, I think, 14, he was a metalhead. So he introduced me to Cradle of Filth, Dimmu Borgir, and one of his friends gave me a CD from Nightwish. And back then, I was not really interested in classical music, but I loved the classical female voice and also the symphonic metal a lot. I know my parents loved to listen to music. My father loved classical music. And we had classical music running like every Sunday morning at breakfast. And I always thought it was so heavy. And when he listened to the heavier composers, like Brahms is one of them. But when I discovered also Nightwish and Pestania, that's when I decided to get classical lessons, and I also joined the choir. And then I got to meet Mark, and then I became the singer of Epica. And at the same time, I was still having classical singing lessons and singing in a choir on the side.
I wanted to talk about social media in general. I know that also you play a role as an influencer, right? Besides your work with music, and I wanted to know, how do you deal with the negativity that, I mean, for example, if you release a song or an album and you see that there are negative comments, and there could also be positive comments, but the negativity always stands out a little bit more, right? So I know that with you artists like that have a lot of exposure, it could be a little bit complicated. And I wanted to know, how do you deal with that? Do you see the comments? Do they affect you? Your bandmates, do they see them? Do you comment the comments within your band? How is that?
Well, I think first of all, you have to know that when you're writing music, at least in our case and my case, I write the melodies, the vocal lines, the lyrics in a way that I like them. And art is subjective, and not everybody likes the same thing. So you have to try not to take it personal if people don't like it, because I think you have to be true to yourself. You have to be authentic. You have to like what you do. Otherwise, it's not fulfilling. It won't make you happy. And if other people love it, it's amazing. But you have to distance yourself from wanting everybody to like it, because that's first of all impossible to begin with. So you have to, take it with a grain of salt. And if somebody doesn't like it, don't take it personal, I guess. And I don't spend so much time on social media anymore. I sometimes read the comments after I post something, but I don't go back and read all the comments unless I specifically also ask a question to the people when I post something. And there are a lot of people that love you, that support you, and then there are a couple of people who just want to, annoy you or try to provoke a reaction. But that's, I don't want to waste my time and energy on that, because I have many other things to do in my life.
But I can imagine that it hasn't always been like that. Maybe you learned that through the way, right?
Yeah, you grow a thicker skin, I guess. You sometimes, of course, when you have a bad day, and then you decide, okay, I'm going to open up whatever YouTube or Instagram, and you check a comment, and you're like, okay, they don't like it. It's sometimes the anonymity of not knowing who the person is, not liking you or whatever you do. But if you're, for example, walking through a city and you see so many people you don't know, and if you try to pin that comment to that person, it's suddenly, it's not hitting home that close anymore. But after all, we're humans. We have good and bad days. And sometimes a negative comment can affect you for a little bit. But, then you just focus on that the majority of the people do like what you do, and you like what you're doing. And that's most important at the end of the day.
So now you have your South American tour in September, right? With Fleshgod Apocalypse. I know you tour with them more than once, right? With Fleshgod?
Yes, yeah, we know them really well. They're really cool people.
Great band. Are you excited for the tour?
Yeah, of course. Before the tour, I am also very excited to go on a holiday. So after the holiday, I will have energy again to go on tour. We have 3 weeks or almost like 4-week tour through whole Latin America. So, but I'm excited to return also to Chile. And I think, we start the tour in Brazil, and in Chile we are a little bit later. I don't have all the dates in my head, but we've been to Chile many times. We always have amazing shows there. I think one of the last times I remember was a huge crowd, and it was magical. It's always amazing to play there, and the energy is always really nice.
How I wanted to touch that point. How's the atmosphere here in Latin America in comparing with other places? I'm not saying that we are the best or anything. I just wanted to say, how do you see it? How do you feel it being here? And because people here is really passionate about music in general.
Yeah, that's true.
And they like to show
very
it
passionate.
a lot.
Yeah, and that's what we love as artists, of course. And you become very spoiled when you tour in Latin America, and then you go to the other countries where people are maybe a little bit more reserved. They enjoy it, but they don't show it that much. But then I think, when I am watching a concert, I am Dutch. I love to go and watch other artists, but I am not screaming my lungs out or jumping or whatever, showing that I like it as much as the Latin American crowd. They just enjoy it, and it becomes very natural to them. But for me, I am more reserved, even though I love it as well. So, and it's always crazy when the crowd you can already tell it from the start. You know, if the crowd if they know the lyrics and they're singing the songs, and yeah, it remains always really awesome to see a crowd singing your songs that were once little ideas in your head, and you see that the music they connect with the music, and I think that's the magic of music.
So finally, a message to your Chilean fans.
Yeah, hola amigos de Chile. Epica's coming back, and we're very excited. I have lost count which time it is that we're now in Chile, but I'm sure it's going to be amazing. As always, muchas gracias, and I hope you like our new album, Spiral, and see you in September.
Thank you very much, Simon.
Thank you. Muchas gracias.